Central Africa. The city of Goma on the border with Rwanda fell last week to rebel forces. The rebels, known as the M23, want to drive the President, Joseph Kabila, from power. This report from Goma by our Africa correspondent Rohit Kachu begins with upsetting pictures.
The government's forces have gone. The rebels are in control. And in the hills high above Goma today, it seemed their grip was tightening. We are not here to take lives, but we want the government to come to the negotiating table. But they are not accepting, he says. But far beneath the soldiers, there is a different battle being fought. It is simply for survival. Since last week, tens of thousands have fled fighting and looting by soldiers as they retreated.
People here are, of course, used to despair. Conflict is a nightmare that's recurring. And once again, entire communities are on the move.
So now, in the shadow of the volcano, the ashes of war spread across a refugee camp. Regina left late at night clutching her children. She says their lives have been destroyed by the fighting.
This is a ballistic ward, if I can say.
At Goma's main hospital, Dr. Simplice shows me the youngest victims. Gloria, aged 5, and hit by a bullet. Emmanuel, now paralyzed at 15 years old.
It's entered here and came to here and destroyed the spinal cord here around.
And paralyzed him.
Paralyzed for life.
With this bullet?
Yes, this one.
Then there's Bahati, who lost his arm in crossfire.
Let them choose a stadium like football. If Manchester United and Chelsea want to play, they choose a stadium.
To you, it's the same. It's
yes.
Sport.
Yes, it's a sport, but they are playing in the ground of civilian.
And we find some of those injured players being treated at a hospital nearby. Government soldiers and rebel fighters side by side. He is M23 and he is M23, says this army lieutenant, but they're both my brothers. Outside, an army doctor enraged. He says the government's losing ground because they're not being paid and fed. They are losing the war, he says. But in Goma, as the humanitarian crisis grows, they are all losers.
Of course, Rohit, this is a region that's known years and years of conflict. Is there any sign of a peaceful way through this one?
Well, the UN says that Rwanda, just across the border here, is the key player. It's accused of funding and supporting the rebel army, interfering in another country. This the same Rwanda that Tony Blair and David Cameron have heaped so much praise and British aid upon. There are senior figures, though, all around the world who believe that the good versus evil narrative